Hey Caitlyn29, I promised you a video response tonight. By gollies, I'm not going to let you down. This is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I've got some notes right here. I'm going to go through these one by one. You had referenced the boot. Let me tell you something. In this country, when you lose your job, they basically say you got the boot. Okay, so that's where the boot thing comes from, alright? We don't call the trunks of our cars the boot. When we're trying to talk about the boot, we usually mean that somebody has just lost their job. Specifically, if somebody actually has been fired. Hey, I'm giving you the boot. That's what that's all about. That's why they give you some strange glances like, why are you talking about the trunk of the car? Aren't you worried about your job? Heaps. Okay, when you go to a restaurant, okay, you get heaps of food. And when people hear the word heaps, of course, they get this idea of obesity. Because when you heap on the food, of course, you're heaping on the calories, which, of course, make you gain weight, which in turn makes you fat. So, that's why they give you such big googly eye expressions, because they're thinking heaps of food, thinking that you're going to get fat. Alright? Drinking songs. Okay, here's the big problem here. We have karaoke in the United States. I'm sure you got it in Australia as well. Let me tell you something. The more drunk a person gets in the United States, the more likely they're going to be very off-key singing karaoke. And it makes them look absolutely stupid and insane. And that's why they give you these awful glances like, man, you're not going to seriously do karaoke now that you've chugged down about 4 or 5 beers, are you? Yeah. So, there you go. Let me tell you something. There was a time in the United States when actually thongs were flip-flops. Okay. Unfortunately, now that they have made these G-strings and they now call them thongs, well, you just don't call the shoes thongs anymore. But when I was a kid, when I was 7, 8 years old, they used to call flip-flops thongs. I wore thongs all the time. But apparently now that it's a woman's undergarment and not a shoe anymore, well, there you go. But to me, the shoes will always be thongs, and I guess those G-strings will always be G-strings to me. They're not going to be thongs to me. Personally, knowing what can happen to a lady when wearing a thong like that on a regular basis, no. You know, if she wants to wear a thong once in a while, that's fine, but not all the time. Okay. Now, when it comes to these Mexican jokes, let me put some perspective into this. We have Caucasians in this country that live like trailer trash. That's just a fact. Not everybody does, but there are some that live like trailer trash. And so you see these Caucasians, and they go out and they use link cards, okay? These would be snap cards, okay? They use these snap cards, and they buy their groceries with the snap cards, but then they pull out a wad of cash, and they buy their alcohol with the wad of cash. So I'm sitting here going, if you have enough of a wad of cash to buy your alcohol, why didn't you just use that to buy your food and quit tapping off the government? Thus the word trailer trash. Likewise, there are lots of Latinos in our country. Many of them are very nice, friendly, kind, wonderful. They could be your best friend. But I know that there are Latinos out there who would definitely say that there are some Latinos, a few of them, that live a lifestyle reminiscent of the Caucasian trailer trash. These people get drunk all the time. They are filthy. They use government money to buy their food, while at the same time they're earning cash, I'm not sure where, and they will use that to buy their alcohol. So basically, these would be the Latino version of trailer trash. So like I said, not all Latinos are like this, but there are some, and I have personally witnessed them. They will stand there and they will act the same way as the Caucasian trailer trash, and that's why they're made fun of. So there you go, there you have it. That's why they have these so-called Mexican jokes. They're actually referring to basically, very specifically, Latino trailer trash. Not Latinos in general, just trailer trash. And yes, there are some Latinos that live in trailer trash. That's just a fact. If you go to certain areas, you're going to find them. I know, I've personally seen them. Alright? If you think the ultimate laziness is a drive-through ATM, then obviously you have never seen a drive-through wedding chapel. I would not be surprised if one day we do not see a bunch of vending machines out there and we call them Vend-A-Church. I can just see that day coming where instead of going to a real church, you will go to this vending machine and you will get your sermon and you'll be able to give your tithe and that kind of thing, and therefore Vend-A-Church. I see that day coming. Trust me, it's going to be here one of these days. But they do have drive-through wedding chapels. They also have drive-through flu shots. That's right, you can actually go to your drive-through and actually get a flu shot or whatever kind of vaccination in a drive-through. This is real, it is true, you can look this up for yourself. Okay. Now as for tipping, I'll explain that one to you. You see, when waiters and waitresses work for some American restaurants, they are given half of what the other people in the United States are working. And what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to make up the other half through tips. And that's why when you leave just $1 tip, they frown at you because they are trying to make up the other half of their paycheck that the employer isn't paying them because he assumes you're getting enough tips to make up for the other half of your paycheck. So there you go. And it's really kind of a shame, but that's the way they do that. Alright. Now as for alcohol everywhere, remember, America is the country of convenience. Of course you're going to find alcohol in grocery stores, at gas stations. You're going to find alcohol just about everywhere. Okay? There are even some pharmacies that actually sell alcohol. Imagine that. Thankfully, I do not work for such a pharmacy, but there are some pharmacies that do sell alcohol. Yeah. There you go. There you have it. But remember, America is the country of convenience, and there you go. That's why we have alcohol flowing everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days we go to the swimming pool and find it full of alcohol instead of it full of... you get the idea. So anyway, hopefully that helped you out. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.